I had a Guerrilla concert in Times Square today and just thought it'd be nice because the album's come out here in America and it's the 8th of July 2008, and we thought we'd celebrate the release of the album with a digital in-store in the street, and we had people turn up to get their albums, and I performed the concert right in the centre of the hustle and bustle of New York City, and it was pretty crazy and it was great fun and just exciting thing to do on the day the album comes out. The Naked Cowboy was there, getting out of his Escalade, and we were great. The cops, we didn't have a permit or anything. The cops just stood by and watched it and let us get on with it. It was great, and there was all the usual sort of saints and sinners of Times Square there, but it was fantastic. Well, it was a cumulative effect really, because the alarm of today started in year 2000, and the solo band became the alarm really, because I'd inherited or got the rights to the alarm's back catalogue, and became the curator of that and was reissuing all the albums. And so we went out on tour to perform the Alarm's greatest hits, or just the music from the 80s that was known. And Eddie McDonald, our original bass player, came with us as well. And we did try to include more of the original lineup as well, but it wasn't to be. So we toured that from 2000 into 2001, and it was a really successful tour, especially in Europe, and we played a lot of shows with Big Country as well. And it really brought all our fans, a lot of old fans out of the woodwork, came to see it, and then all of a sudden everyone's going, "Oh, you've got to keep this going. When's the new Alarm album coming out? When are you going to make some new music with this lineup?" Because it's a great band. We were lucky. We've had lightning has struck on the Alarm twice with the original guys and with the Alarm of today. So the challenge was to make a new album. So we made 5 on the internet with our fans, because I felt making an Alarm album was so much to say. There was a lot of gaps to fill. There was a lot of history that had been missed out on where there weren't records. But I've always written songs for the Alarm, so even if I was writing on a piece of work for my solo career like Breathe, that was going to be the next Alarm album. I just didn't make it with the Alarm, I made it on my own. But the songs reference the past, so the Alarm has always been with me in my heart. And now it's in the new music, and this is our 3rd Alarm album of this decade and the modern era. And it keeps growing and growing and getting more and more exciting. I don't know if they are anymore. I think they're all Alarm fans. They have this huge commonality. We have an event in Wales every year called The Gathering. Lots of American fans have travelled to it. And now through the internet and the communication that we have, I think the fans are very integrated. Lots of British fans have come over here now to see an Alarm show in America, and they've hooked up with American fans, and everyone looks after each other. And I don't really see a distinction anymore. I think the internet has allowed us to break that sort of thing down, because American fans can find out everything there is going on in Britain, because it's all there at the touch of a button now, isn't it? And so I think now, I don't really think there is a difference. The Gathering started because, essentially because I got diagnosed with cancer really, and then all of a sudden my movements around the world were restricted. And so I came up with the madcap idea of a role reversal, where the fans would go on tour and I'd stay at home. And we'd have an event called The Gathering, and then we'd draw the fans from the USA, from all over Europe, Japan, Australia. We put on a huge event that lasts 3 days, and I'm involved in all of it, so it's a real fitness marathon for me. And it's just, I think it again helps to break those barriers down. You wouldn't see me in my own hometown. I put more into it because I'm not doing the travelling and climbing on the aeroplanes and checking in the hotels. I walk down the street and strap on the guitar and then play for 4 or 5 hours or whatever it is the need. And through The Gathering, because it's our best fans from all over the world in one space, we can play whatever we like from the Alarm history, or from any moment in time of the Alarm's recorded career, because they know every single song there is. So even the most obscure B-side gets treated like a massive hit record to that audience, because it is your best fans. And it's a real big challenge to play to those people, because they know more about the Alarm than probably I do. And so we have to really be on our toes. But the whole band really loves it. Everyone from all eras of the Alarm have been there and played there, and it really is a gathering of everything that is good about the Alarm. There was the year I ended up in the sea. I we were shooting a film for the gathering, and a lot of people ask me how I stay fit for the event, because I could be on stage for 7-8 hours in 2 days, and more with the afternoons, and then playing in the after show parties in the hotels, and then one day my friend that I train with a lot, he took me on a run into the mountains around Llandudno, and I came down off the mountain, and we were filming it for a sort of fitness video to go with the DVD that we're shooting, and then Johnny said, right, into the sea, and we did, and we disappeared into the ocean for a swim and came back, and all the fans were watching, and they saw soaking Mike Peters run back into the venue to get ready for it. And then that's in turn inspired the fans to do a sponsored swim in the sea every year to raise money for local charities, and so that's one of them. And then there's the year we played in the after show party, dressed up as a glam rock band, and we came on, and I think the fans didn't even know it was us, because we all had makeup on and wigs and everything, and they gave us a hard time because they thought it wasn't the alarm. That was pretty funny. Yeah. My health is good, I'm in remission, but I have to be careful about what I undertake, because I've got a leukemia, and I have a sort of compromised immune system because of that. It means it's not quite as functional as everybody else, as a normal person's is, so I have to be careful not to catch colds and things like that. They're the things that can affect me, that if they turn into pneumonias and I can't fight them or things like that. So I've just got to be on my toes. 99% I'll be able to beat it off good and just live a normal life, but there's always that chance that something could get hold of me that's aggressive. Other than that, I'm in great shape. I'm in remission. I have treatment to maintain the remission, and that treatment possibly could lead to some sort of cure in the future. We don't know yet, but so there's lots of doors open for optimism. I'm not going to die of leukemia, and I'll die with it more than likely, which is fantastic to know. But you're always living on a knife edge, to quote an Alarm song, with it, because you're always looking over your shoulder because you never know what is around the corner. But I've got the best treatment there is, and I've come through it and still managed to hang on to my hair and my health, and still be able to play in a rock and roll band. So there's been a lot of positives that have come from what I've been through. So that's what I want to accentuate through my work as a musician, and show people that there is life after cancer. Oh, without a doubt, yes. The cancer diagnosis just made me focus on what's important in my life, and what I would take with me on that next journey beyond what we all are on planet Earth. And it's made me focus on certain music that I love above all else, and that in turn has led to me creating an Alarm album that reflects the sort of music I love above all others. And it's certainly there in Guerrilla Tactics, because it was written in the aftermath of diagnosis, when I was having a lot of chemotherapy, and the songs were informed by that experience. And I was. You never sit down to write a song. They arrive, you start playing the guitar, and then these chords start happening. You think, here's a melody, and you can feel it coming, and you just start singing lyrics. And I don't know what prompts me to sing, situations under control, or fight back, and that just comes out in the subconscious, and then straight through into the music. And when I first had these songs, I thought, wow, I was almost afraid to play them to the band, because I thought they were quite stripped to the bone and raw and naked, and they reminded me of the first songs I'd ever written as a kid, starting in a punk band in '77, and so the first time I played them was with an 18 and 19-year-old two kids that I knew from the street, from where I lived, that played bass and drums, and I got them in the room with me and started playing, and I said, I'm going to play you some songs, just keep up with me and follow the chords as best you can. And we ripped through about 15 songs at these little sessions, and I recorded them, and that's how I played the songs to the band for the first time, as sort of finished demos done with these two kids. And the band were great about it. They loved it, because they thought, wow, it sort of put us in touch with an energy we'd lost through becoming a professional band and touring and learning how to conserve our energy and how to be able to play and move around a stage. You can't just do it where, you know, you're not sitting down and playing the guitar, you're moving around, you're jumping around, you're entertaining an audience. So you find sort of cheap ways to play the chords that allow you to be a performer. And then you start to take that into the studio with you. So I sort of set the band challenge. We've got to play like we would play if we'd only just learnt. So we played with all bar chords, and we were going up and down the neck like this. And that brings a whole energy into the playing of the music. So there's a different energy about this record from all the others, but it's a kind of energy that relates back to the beginning and the foundation of the band. Well, when I was going through chemo in North Wales, my goal and symbol of gaining return to full health was to climb Snowdon, which is the highest mountain in England and Wales. And I can see that from the window of the cancer centre where I was being treated. And I always kept saying to myself, I'm going to go back up there when I get well. I'm going to take all the fans and celebrate return to health with a concert. And then that mutated into, let's go to Everest and take some people there as well. And I think that's partly come about because through my illness, I discovered how different healthcare systems work around the world. I wanted to carry on playing music while I was having treatment, and that meant going to America as well with our last album with Under Attack, to play in Texas and to play at the Joey Ramone Lymphoma benefit concert at Joey Ramone Bash here in New York. And I couldn't get insurance to travel because I was under treatment. So a friend of mine from Texas helped me out. And he'd been through a transplant. He was a leukemia survivor, and he introduced me to the health system in America. He couldn't believe that in Britain I was just assigned a doctor and assigned treatment, and I didn't have any say in it. I didn't have to do any research or compare this doctor in that hospital to this one. And James Chippendale, who's the founder of the foundation with me, he said, I researched my illness right across America and went and found the best doctor, and he's right here in Dallas, and I wanted to come and meet him, and I did, and sat down at a second opinion with the doctors in Dallas, and they said, well, what have you come here for? You have an amazing treatment in Wales, you've got an incredible doctor, which is fantastic for me to know. And so I felt impelled to go back to the UK and tell Britain, look, I've got the best doctor in the world right here in North Wales in our healthcare system. And I realised in America you have healthcare through insurance initiatives. In Britain we have the national health, but then I look beyond that, and in other parts of the world people don't have access to any kind of health system. And so I felt, which like a lot of people do who've come through cancer, is you want to kind of even the balance for other people and make the sort of treatments I've had that have kept me alive, make them available to other people who aren't so lucky. And we felt by going to third world parts of the country, putting on extraordinary events, taking musicians down there, playing music, we could make a difference, more so than we probably could in our own hometowns. And although we do events on our own doorsteps, but the big work we do is, like in Nepal, we went and sang the highest concert in the world and climbed up to just short of 19,000 feet on Everest and performed. But we left the money we raised through Everest Rocks, we left in Nepal to support the cancer centre in Bhaktapur. In October, we're going to Machu Picchu, and we'll be supporting a cancer centre in Peru and helping them get the machinery like we have here that keep our friends, our communities, or our family or ourselves alive. The foundation is called Love, Hope, Strength, and it is on the internet, lovehopstrength.org.com or .co.uk. And people can join our force by just coming to the website. We host rocks events, as we call them, around the world, and we also encourage people to do events on their own doorstep. And through Love, Hope, Strength, they can channel the money into a local centre that they want to benefit. You know, our cancer is our cause. You know, we want to fight back against cancer. That's the calling of our foundation, and we are there to take the fight against cancer to new heights. That's our watchword. And we want to spread good news about cancer, because a lot of us that are in part of it, we've all survived the illness, and we want to pass on the good news stories that we have to share, because no one is prepared for a cancer diagnosis. Everyone thinks that's something that happens to other people. So when the doctor sits down with you and has to talk about it, it's a massive shock. And often you haven't got a clue where to start. You don't know where to turn. Your family are unprepared. It's something no one wants to talk about until it's there. And so if we can lodge the thought of love, hope, strength in someone's mind, they might think, hang on, I can go to that website. And then from there, we can help them take on their personal battle against cancer. I was never that wild in the band, you know. I was always, I wasn't much of a drinker because I can't sing. If I had one beer, I'm the world's worst singer, so I'm terrible at karaoke and things like that. And so I'd always have to watch out for myself on the road. So we were never that wild a band in the Alarm, and we're still not. You know, we're very sociable without going over the top, and yeah, we live to play the music on stage, and I think you have to be fit, and you know, I wanted to play rock and roll for a long time. I wanted to make it my life rather than just a short period, and I didn't want to burn out, so I was always mindful of that. And the first band we ever toured with really were U2, and that's something, you know, they talked about. Bono was very serious about protecting himself for a life in rock and roll, and that was passed on to me through him, really. It doesn't bother me at all because they're good friends of ours, and they championed us across America, U2, and helped to break us. They, you know, in '83 when we first came out on the road with them, Bono and the Edge were on radio stations saying, "Don't play U2, play the Alarm. They're supporting us tonight. Get in early to come and see them. They're amazing," and they're fantastic to us. And I think there was a certain amount of taking from one from the other. You know, we learnt a lot of music from them. And we were always jamming on sound checks, and you know, I was sitting in a hotel room with the Edge on the water, and he didn't know how to play a bar chord. I had to show him how to do it. You know, he could just about play what he did in his style, and he'd really come from a non-musical background and learnt to play the guitar in his own way. He didn't know the traditional things about the guitar, and so through that experience, you're passing on something to him, and I'm learning something from the Edge, and it's just a natural exchange of ideas. And you know, Bono and I sat for hours talking about the world and what we were going to do, and ideas, and again, it rubs off on you, you know, vice versa. And so I think the comparisons started when we came a little bit closer. They adopted some of the more regular rock and roll things about us, like acoustic guitars and harmonicas, and they started wearing clothes a bit like us, cowboy hats and all that. And then we adopted more of a sort of a groove rock kind of thing came in that was maybe more associated with how they played it, and so then we were part of the same generation. It's like saying, you know, Pearl Jam and Nirvana have things in common because they come from the same cities and they have the same time frame, and they're billed as being a grunge rock band. And I think it's just one of those things, and we take it as a compliment. You're going to get compared to a band, we'll get compared to one of the best.
Thanks for watching the You Interview channel. With over 3,000 original celebrity videos, we have one of the largest collections of celebrity interviews anywhere. So remember to like and comment on our videos and subscribe to the channel. If you want to get more involved, you can become a member of the channel. Membership has its perks. You can see exclusive celebrity videos and get the opportunity to ask our celebrity guests questions. We can't wait to hear from you.